Hello guys, it's your boy Luca Bazooka, and before I start, I just want to let you know that I didn't get to watch the SD Iber match due to my work schedule. By the time I got back, the match was like already several hours over, and I tried to catch some highlights, but to no avail. Wasn't really much I could take from it other than the fact that, Benzema put in, world-class performance, helped set up goals, scored, and everything, and we won 4-1. That's all I can say. Sorry about that, Rich, but hey, that's life. Life is catching up to me. But now today we go into a topic that has caused, numerous fanboy wars between or amongst the Madrid fan base, and today is the part 2 and final section of the Isco versus James debate. So for today, I just like to say, according to Cope, there was a report that came out. And first off, I just want to say Cope are somewhat credible news outlet concerning transfer rumors and the likes. They say that Madrid could be going in for Hazard if Isco and James don't, agree to their contract renewals, especially Isco, because there's numerous reports saying that he's turned down a couple from Madrid because of, his current role in the team. And there's, still the lingering possibility that James could leave this summer, seeing as he's not a starter in this team, despite him coming out to say, he wants to be here forever and stay here, make a name for himself here. There's still that. But today, I just want to, give you a different alternative that I know it's probably not even going to happen ever. But concerning our midfield and, the stockpile of talent that we have. So today, I just want to say, what if Madrid, or rather, I'd put it this way, that Madrid should consider buying someone much older that isn't going to be around much. I know Perez likes buying the young boys, seeing as, the longer they stay here, the better they get, and the higher their value. And so if they do decide to move, Madrid gets a huge profit in transfer sales for them. But, right now, seeing as we have Asensio and Kovacic and Odegaard, I think if James and Isco do leave, that's hypothetically, if both of them do leave this summer, I think Madrid should just buy one extra midfielder. Just one. Someone much older. Someone maybe 27 years old. At least, or 28. Someone that, isn't going to be around for 10 years or 6 years or any of that stuff. That way, or someone that should also know that, they're not going to be a permanent starter in any way, shape, or form. They're just here to, rotate for players that are, maybe injured, suspended, or, need a rest. Something like that. But now, say Isco and James do leave. That will open the door for Asensio and Kovacic to get way more playing time than they currently do, even though they do get a good fair amount under so far this season. Well, not so much Asensio, seeing as he hasn't played the last few games. But say those two do leave, that leaves the door open for, Asensio and Kovacic to be able to get more playing time in practically all the Copa del Rey matches for next season, and the few or the odd La Liga matches, which would be a handful, to also rotate between Cruz and Modric. Seeing as we'd also have Marcos Llorente coming back from loan from Alaves. And that should at least give us, that extra midfielder in case of suspensions or anything that happens to Cass. We have quality backup, seeing as this team has been ridden with injuries nonstop. So, again, that would open the door for Kovacic and Asensio. And also we'd have the extra midfielder that's maybe in his late 20s. That way, as Odegaard is, developing over in the other league, by the time he comes back in his 20s, that midfielder could, probably be on his way out. That way we'd have a good, he'd have a good chance in this team, and we won't have to worry about, oh no, they're so young, they need to play more, they need to do this, they need to get the minutes that they deserve, and blah blah blah. We wouldn't have to worry about that the same way we worry about that right now. But knowing how Madrid works, if those two do leave this summer, they're probably gonna buy someone even more younger and expensive, and we'd be right back where we are right now. Trying to struggle with, managing all these talents and giving them enough playing time and trying to make sure that they're not spending majority of the time here just practicing. And then there's pressure from the media and the fans that, oh my God, they deserve to play. No, they don't. Especially I've seen people crying for Asensio, talking about, he deserves to play more. No. Cruz and Modric are the two best midfielders in the world, in my opinion, and I believe a lot of other people share that same opinion. But those two, you can't just drop them because Asensio is young and he needs to play and manifest his talent or whatever. No, Asensio's time is going to come. I believe Isco's time too is going to come, seeing as Modric is not getting any younger. Modric is probably entering the part of his career where he can only just begin to lose form and skills and such. Even though I think he still has another year or two in him of top performances. But then again, by then Isco would probably be in his late 20s. By the time Modric, begins to decline and probably gets set to be on his way out of the club. And I can understand why he doesn't want to wait. But the same goes for all the other young players. Your time will come. But then again, you have to look back in Madrid's history that they're always gonna buy even younger players. So it's like, what's the point of waiting around? At times, it's like, what's the point of waiting around when there's somebody your own age too trying to wait for their time, and we just continue to struggle with talent overhaul or talent stockpiling. But again, I'd like for the club to at least loan in a player of older age if Isco or James do leave, someone that's going to just accept that bench role and know that, look, that's what you're here for. You're not going to play majority of the matches. You're just here to rotate. We need somebody like that who doesn't mind that, and and when they are called upon, they can at least provide something for the team with the time that they are given. And of course, I'd also like for the club to get another left back, but even though I don't think that's ever gonna happen, seeing as Madrid like to sign the best young players in the world. But so far, I honestly don't think Madrid need to sign anyone for the next probably 10 years. All midfield right now is young, or the people or the generation coming behind Cruz and Modric are like young. Cruz, Modric, and Cass are like young. Marcus Llorente, and so on and so forth. So that's all I have to say concerning this Isco versus James debate. And before I leave, I'll say, the last podcast I didn't exactly say who I wanted to stay at the club. I cut it off at the end. But so this podcast, who I actually want to remain at the club would have to be James. Simply because Isco himself said he's been here 3 years. He's not yet he's not a starter yet. So he's probably has to look at himself or go elsewhere. But I'm choosing James because of the fact that he is more direct towards goals with his approach. He is more direct in creating chances, and the attack is more direct, is aimed at scoring, is aimed at goals, as opposed to what Isco does. Even though Isco too is a number 10, but at times he tends to linger on the ball a little bit too much. Even though he hasn't done any of that lately, he's been fantastic lately. But I'd still pick James because of the fact he's just direct with everything. Every pass, every cross is aimed at goal. Especially those beautiful crosses he's been sending in lately. Anyways, I'm out. I hope we win the second leg against Napoli. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe. Peace.